Michael Grady Skyping in. In fact, do we have Michael now?
Yes, sir.
Hey, bud.
What's going on?
How was the radio show?
No radio today. No radio.
Oh, that's right.
Today.
You're off from the radio show. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Just off the radio show. But monitoring, everything that's going on, with the Colts and all the talk and conversation from yesterday. Fans still not feeling at ease after the performance yesterday still.
Yeah, a lot of talk afterwards, and you were in the locker room after the game as well. The guys inside the locker room, while they were pretty much spent a week ago in that win down in Tennessee, and they were just glad to get out of there, much different looking and sounding locker room yesterday. It was pretty jubilant, wasn't it, Michael?
It was. There was also a sense of relief as well.
Yeah.
And I think the main thing was, there may be fans and folks that may want some style points. Too many people may be paying attention to what the New England Patriots did at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Look, when you're playing without Andrew Luck, even though it's your goal no matter what, but especially in a situation like this when you're shorthanded, not to mention the guys on the defensive side of the ball, all you care about is getting a win. You don't care about style points. You don't care about margin of victory. Just get a W and hold down the fort until Andrew Luck gets back.
I would agree with that. I mean, style points kind of went out the window after the Bills game, didn't it?
Exactly. Now it's just
Absolutely.
wins. It's just, I need a W. I need a W bad. I need to do whatever I got to do to win until this team gets right, and hopefully that comes pretty soon.
Thank goodness, though, the Colts are a part of the AFC South, though, right?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I mean, Tennessee with the new quarterback and Marcus Mariota. Blake Bortles is still learning and figuring things out. And how many mistakes did the Jacksonville Jaguars make yesterday? Whether it was penalties or just bad bonehead plays by their team, just to open the door for the Colts to be able to steal that one. That was a game that Jacksonville probably should have had, but they just left the door wide open for the Indianapolis Colts. And then we'll see a Houston team on Thursday that was smacked around by the Atlanta Falcons. So, this AFC South has been a godsend since Andrew Luck has came along, no question. And that's kind of reflected. We saw this stat about a couple of weeks ago about the division record that the Colts have versus the record against teams outside of the AFC South, not as one-sided.
Well, I'm going to call an audible here. Let's put up the graphic that lists all the division streaks of the last, I don't know, this goes back to 1972, the early 70s. The Colts have won 15 straight now in the AFC South. This division streaks in any division. The 2002-2010 Colts won 15 straight in the AFC North. Jim Sorgi was a part of that. And then you go back to 72-73. The Dolphins own the AFC East 15 in a row. And then Dallas back in the early 90s, they won 14 in a row against the NFC East. And the Patriots back in the not too distant, last year, up until last year, they won 14 in a row against the NFC North. So another win on Thursday, and the Colts break a record, if you will. And I don't think there's any reason why, certainly if Luck comes back, Michael, there's no reason why they can't go down to Houston and get another W.
Oh, there shouldn't be. There shouldn't be. But I think this team has been unpredictable to this point, or at least they haven't. Let me put it this way: it hadn't been unpredictable. They've been pretty consistent in not playing at a high level through the first 4 weeks of this NFL season, and because of that, there are no guarantees. But at the same time, the way the Houston Texans have been playing, it would lead you to believe that the Colts have a really good shot. That said, they're on their home field. They always get up to play against the Colts. They don't beat the Colts in Indianapolis, but they have beaten the Colts out there at what is now called NRG Stadium. So, and when you have J.J. Watt going against that Colts offensive line, there are no gimmies. So I'm going to stay away from predictions, but that is definitely a winnable game.
The funny thing is, I don't know how you feel, but last year I had enough of the J.J. Watt talk. I mean, it seemed like every week, J.J. Watt this, J.J. Watt that. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then that Thursday night game down in Houston, dude stepped up. I'm thinking, okay, this is every bit of the hype that this guy's been getting.
Well, what's crazy is I really haven't heard his name too much this year.
Right.
I really haven't.
Not like last year.
Right. I really haven't been looking for it all that much, but they're right. That's a team that's in flux right now. I heard Bill O'Brien's post-game speech and just kept taking the blame. It's my fault. I didn't get this team ready to play. Turn the ball over a ton of times, give short fields, and then you're switching quarterbacks. And then they started asking him about that. He's like, we were out of the game. We were just making substitutions. Well, and Brian Hoyer came in there and played pretty good. I mean, there's got to be something there and he's going to get asked it all week. And I'm guessing Mal to start, but with a short leash.
We're going to get to the stats from the Houston Texans here coming up. One last thing, Michael, about yesterday. I know you were in the locker room. What was Frank Gore saying? I mean, here he is, 2 home games, 2 fumbles essentially at the goal line. I feel bad for the dude, but this is something moving forward he cannot be doing.
Yeah, he feels like he's pressing too hard. He also acknowledged that he has some issues with his hands, whether it was jammed or dislocated or something like that. He's had an issue, and that led to some of those drops. I know that Hasselbeck took the blame for it, but Frank felt like he should have had those catches early on in the game, but he was kind of saying that his fingers have been kind of jacked up. He had a different choice word for his fingers, but we'll go with
it's the internet. I think you can say it. I don't know. No, maybe not. Okay.
Mom's probably watching.
Okay.
But anyway, so he was acknowledging some issues with his hands. He said that that affected the drops, but it didn't affect the fumble. He feels like he's pressing too much, and so he was really hard on himself. He's happy. He was happy about the win after the game, but he was really tore up about that fumble there on the goal line. He felt like he could have cost his team the football game. So I'm with everybody else. I love Frank. I love how hard he runs and all that, but obviously he's going to have to clean up the fumbles, because not only is Frank having issues with fumbling the football, you have Tyler Varga, who's out with a concussion, but then Josh Robinson has coughed up the football as well. So they've got some issues there in the backfield.
Yeah, and Josh Robinson looked like after that fumble where he kind of made the guy safety miss and the got hit from Scooter from behind, it looked like he came out kind of holding his hand a little bit, that the ball, he was carrying the ball with him. We didn't really see him that much after that point, so it'd be interesting to got to hold on to the ball.
Robinson's not helping himself out, and then we get word, there's scuttlebutt on Twitter and the internet that Ahmad Bradshaw is in town today, the former Colt, former New York Giant. Did you play with Ahmad?
I did.
Yeah. He is in town working out, let's say, for the Colts, and so there might be a move that this team's going to make here in the not-too-distant future heading into the Texans game, although you go back to his drug arrest, if you will, or legal issues that he had, I believe it was in Ohio.
Yep.
He's going to have to sit out 1 game.
Right.
So if the Colts sign him, then he's not going to be available for the Texans game on Thursday. But I mean, Michael, it's something they got to work out. Varga's got a concussion. Robinson may or may not be long for this world.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So they have to figure something out. Yeah. Again, the running game is the quarterback's best friend, and I know when Frank is on, he's certainly helping this football team.
He is so
can't
good,
cough the ball up,
so
and you need some depth behind him for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Michael. We'll see you out at the Colts complex. Live coverage beginning at 4 o'clock. The Colts have practice. Players are available. We're going to hear from Chuck Pagano around 6:15 or so as well. So short week. Colts back at it today to get ready for the Houston Texans. We'll see you out there at the Colts complex today. Thanks, Michael.
We'll see you there. Take care.